Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's episode is another one about my life as an ophthalmologist. The last weeks were really busy and it's a really fun episode. So I hope you're very excited and let's get started. The last 1.5 weeks I've worked more than 90 hours. So it's been a very challenging time. First of all, because of the number of hours I worked, but also because of the fact that I've nearly worked at a different department every day. So everything started the day after Labor Day. On the Tuesday, I was at the outpatient clinic. After that, I worked at the functional diagnostics on Wednesday, followed by 2 days at the ward. And then I had 2 night shifts at the weekend. I gladly had 1 day off at least. And then I had to continue on Tuesday at the Pediatric and Neuroophthalmology department, followed by a special training on Wednesday, where I was able to become a clinical study investigator. And then on Thursday, I was back at the outpatient clinic. And finally, on Friday, I did a lot of laser procedures again. So let's talk a bit more in detail on my experiences in the last nearly 2 weeks. So the first day was the Tuesday after Labor Day, where I worked at the outpatient clinic. The Tuesday is normally the day where we see a lot of patients with glaucoma. So at this day, I saw patients with open angle glaucoma, closed angle glaucoma, and normal tension glaucoma, and secondary glaucoma due to rubeosis, for example. For these patients, it's very important that, of course, we see what's the eye pressure, and also we focus on doing visual fields examinations and take a look on the optic nerve. So we do a OCT. And if we've seen the patient before, we compare our examinations to the ones we did at the visits the last times. And then we often prescribe local eye drops to lower the eye pressure. And for some patients, that even not enough, so they need surgery. Sometimes it's even enough to just do a cataract surgery. We usually prefer to do that before anti-glaucomatous surgery, like a trabeculectomy, and hopefully in most cases then we are able to slow down the progress of that disease. Furthermore, I also saw 2 emergency cases at that day. First of all, there was like an older woman coming to the department, I just got the information that she seemed to have a close angle glaucoma. And when I took a look on her right eye, I really saw that the anterior chamber was really small and smaller than on the other side. The eye pressure was increased. We did not really have any insight on the retina, because her lens was also very cloudy. Well, she had a very mature cataract. So then we did an ultrasound, and then there we could see that there was even a suprachoroidal hemorrhage. So that was surprising, and therefore it's always good to do an ultrasound when you're not able to take a look on the retina. That was really shocking and surprising. So basically the cause of her high eye pressure was of course due to the mature cataract, but in this case also because of the suprachoroidal bleeding. And that's really poor prognosis, really bad disease. And we did a surgery which basically was a drainage of that blood by posterior sclerotomies. However, the prognosis of that eye was really poor, and we weren't really able to maintain good vision for her. The second case was a patient with an endophthalmitis after cataract surgery. So for this patient, we needed to do a diagnostic vitrectomy, and furthermore, the patient also got intravitreal antibiotic injections and also anti-inflammatory injections, and also systemic and local antibiotic and treatment. We usually start like that, and then after we see that the treatments work, they help to fight against the infection, then we also start with local and systemic anti-inflammatory treatments. On Wednesday, I worked at the functional diagnostics. Here I saw a lot of different patients. I saw a patient with a macular hole. We decided to do a surgery, vitrectomy, to remove the vitreous humor, and then also do a gas injection to close that hole. I saw a patient with epiretinal gliosis. For this patient, we also decided to do a surgery, which would be a vitrectomy as well, and also includes membrane peeling of the gliosis and then a gas or air injection. I furthermore saw a patient with age-related macular degeneration. This patient had a dry age-related macular degeneration, but suddenly developed a wet one on one eye, and we did fluorescent angiography to validate that and to be able to do further treatment, which will be the antivascular endothelial growth factor injection in this eye. I also saw a patient with proliferative diabetic retinopathy. For this patient, we finally also decided to do an antivascular endothelial growth factor injection. And I also saw a few patients with uveitis. On Thursday and Friday, I worked at the ward. Here I also saw a lot of patients with different diseases. Most of them got a surgery. So we had patients with a cataract surgery, with vitrectomy, for example, for retinal detachments, for macular holes, epiretinal gliosis, vitreous hemorrhages. I also saw the patients from Tuesday with the endophthalmitis and the suprachoroidal bleeding. Furthermore, there were patients with keratitis, patients who got corneal transplant because of some diseases like corneal scarring due to an infection. And there were also patients with the endocrine orbitopathy, and also a few patients with glaucoma. At the ward, I have to do the physical examinations of these patients, talk about the treatments, talk about when they're able to get discharged. I need to write medical report for the patients, and organize a lot of things for surgeries and discharging patients. The weekend I had 2 night shifts, so during this time I had to take care of all the patients at our ward, and furthermore of all emergency cases, basically of the entire city. However, at this weekend, I was a bit lucky that there weren't too many patients coming to the clinic. I had typical patients with a keratitis who got just antibiotics, eye drops. I saw one patient with a corneal foreign body, so I just removed that with a needle. And the patient also got some antibiotic eye drops. Furthermore, I saw one patient with a corneal abrasion, same treatment. And I also had a patient with a macular hole, so this guy got a laser treatment. And besides that, I didn't really have many more emergency patients, gladly. On Monday was a day off, and then on Tuesday I worked at the Pediatric and Neuroophthalmology department. That's the one where I have only worked 2 times so far. So that's still like probably the most difficult one for me to handle. Also because of the fact that you need to take care of the children, which is, in my opinion, a bit more difficult to interact with them, to see the retina of these patients, because they don't really sit and stop moving. So makes it a bit more difficult, more challenging. And here I saw a few kids with myopia who got glasses. I also saw a few patients with endocrine orbitopathy, and also a few patients who got a trauma of the eye, who had a fracture of the orbita and needed to get a surgery. Besides that, they did not have very severe damage to the eye, only like subconjunctival hemorrhage. And still it was challenging, but very interesting to work at this department. After that, on Wednesday, I had a special training to become a clinical study investigator. That was the GCP course, Good Clinical Practice, in which I learned how to do studies with patients, to focus on side effects and things like that. And from now on, I'm able to take care of these patients at our clinics. Really cool. I'm now already getting involved in the first study, in which we take care of patients with age-related macular degeneration, and want to see and learn about the progression of this disease. On Thursday, I worked again at the outpatient clinic. At this day, I saw a lot of patients with corneal diseases, so with keratitis and other diseases of the cornea, like endothelial dystrophies. And I also saw patients with eyelid tumors. I was also able to do my first intravitreal injection. The patient had an endophthalmitis due to a varicella zoster virus infection. And I did my first injection for this patient. Of course, that was really scary at the beginning. And I first asked my attending to show me how to do it correctly. And after that, at the second time, it was my turn to do it on my own. It worked really well. It felt really uncomfortable at the beginning, but I guess the more often you do it, of course, you get used to with everything in life. And of course, it's scary to think about the side effects, the problems you can cause to a patient. But gladly everything worked well so far. And after that, on Friday, the last day of this long week, I did a lot of laser treatments for patients. Yeah, I did the laser iridotomy, the laser capsulotomy again, and also some hair removal with the laser epilation. And yeah, that was a really fun time, really challenging, but a lot of good learning for me. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.